Hi, my name is Jeremy Mercer. I'm the CEO of Matador Capital. I specialize in investing in Class B and C commercial real estate assets in the Texas and Oklahoma markets. And today I'm going to talk to you about inflation and what's going on in our world today with that. What is inflation, right? Inflation is, it's the increase in prices in the fall in the purchasing value of money. Your dollars buy less these days because the prices have risen on all consumer goods. There's a couple things that come into this factor. Consumer demand has risen, and there's been shortages in labor, and there's been raw material shortages. And another big thing that happened through all of this was that the government printed $3 trillion in 2020. What does that mean? All this new money comes into the economy. With all that money to spend, your dollars buy less. So assets go up in value dramatically. Real estate prices have risen incredibly in 2021 and 2022, the first half of 2022. It was one of the nuttiest real estate markets I've ever seen. I think, you could literally tie a property up for 60 days and make 10% on it already, just holding it, from how fast people were putting money out. The government put so many PPP loans out to, honestly, a lot of companies that didn't truly need them. But they wanted to stimulate the economy, and and money was at 3%. Money was cheap. Everybody had a bunch of money, so they could leverage and use the government's money and the inflated assets up at a dramatic scale. A lot of this was obviously caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. As we shut down, they didn't really know what was going to happen, so they felt they had to fund all this money out. But the other thing that happened throughout all that is a lot of the major manufacturing plants had to shut down during COVID. And those major manufacturing plants then had to get caught back up. So getting caught back up, they still haven't gotten caught back up, which is crazy. You think they were probably down 3 to 4 months, but we're still years behind now. Those manufacturing plants being shut down, coupled with the fact that all the money is put into the economy now, the demand for materials and supplies to produce what is needed to produce for our economics has now risen the price of everything. So inflation has inflated all these real estate values, and this is what creates bubbles. And so now, essentially, imagine you're flying this airplane, and now the Fed is trying to land it, and they're trying to have a soft landing. And so they are strategically raising interest rates 75 bips, 50 to 75 bips every FMOC meeting, and we just got our last rate hike yesterday. So what does this mean? Well, this means things have to come down in pricing, because now to leverage money and go buy something, you have to pay the bank more interest in order to do so. Where it was 3.5% in January, it's now 7%. So now to curb inflation, we're having to bring everything down. So there's been a lot of factors that have caused this, and what's interesting about this from a real estate perspective is, one, as you're going up in inflation, there's a lot of arbitrage because the market started to move at a pace that no one's ever seen before. Back to my point about tying up a property and making 10% on it in 60 days. The market moves while you're under contract that quickly. Now the market is also moving the other direction now as you're under contract on a property. We would typically prefer longer closing periods. Now we try to close quicker. We closed a deal yesterday and we had to fund it before noon, before the interest rates changed, because we had to float to close. So there's a lot that comes into this now that you have to take into consideration when you're buying these commercial assets. That's how inflation has affected real estate values. Now the Fed is trying to land the airplane, and when hopefully we don't crash down, maybe we might, I don't know, but I think what this does present itself is there will be a lot of buying opportunities over the next 24 months. And I think after the next 24 months, when they normalize what's going on, they will start lowering rates again to stimulate economic growth. Again, my name's Jeremy Mercer, CEO of Matador Capital. If you want to talk more about commercial real estate investments in Texas and Oklahoma, or any part of commercial real estate assets, get a hold of me, like the YouTube channel, find me on Instagram or matadorcapital.com.